The first of the major speeches we're going to talk about is the special occasion speech or the celebratory speech. These are speeches that we're most commonly called up to do. It can range from anything from a wedding to a retirement to even a funeral. So there's a wide variety of speeches that may occur in your lifetime that you may only have 15 to 20 minutes to prepare for, but your preparation in that little time can mean the difference to a lot of people. There are exactly as many special occasions in life as we choose to celebrate. Absolutely. You might have a speech for a family reunion, it might be for a birthday, anniversary. All these are things where we might decide to celebrate it, and to make a few memorable comments will go a long way. What we want to talk about is how we handle the different variety of special occasion speeches, such as the introduction, the presenting, the acceptance, praise or blame, we'll get more in depth in that one, inspiration or encouragement, and of course mourning. The first type we will talk about is the speech of introduction. Now, when we first hear this, we automatically go to more of the formal situations, perhaps a graduation, perhaps a award ceremony such as the Oscars or the Grammys, where you'll be introducing album of the year, new artist of the year, these type of situations, which most of us will never find ourselves in that situation. However, an introduction can be as simple as introducing a new staff member, maybe introducing someone to the family, maybe even at an anniversary, introducing your grandparents. These are all different forms of a speech of introduction. And the main thing to remember with these, you are not the important one. Absolutely, you are there to get everyone to kind of rise up, pay attention, because you're going to bring out the person of the hour, the people of the hour, whatever you want to consider it. But the focus truly isn't on you. So don't start off with a story about yourself. Instead, you want to welcome the audience, share a story about the person that's being brought up, maybe a little bit of their background, their achievements, their accomplishments. And you want to do this in a short fashion because you don't want to be up there for 5 minutes talking and the person comes out and gives a 1-minute speech. No, it should be reversed. You give the 1-minute introduction and they give the 5-minute speech. Speeches of introduction, as I mentioned, can be very formalized, but it can also be a very simple situation with a small group, perhaps at a meeting of a club such as the Chamber of Commerce. Maybe it's a case of introducing the new baby to the family. Of course, the baby won't have much to say, but you get the idea. A speech of introduction really is about bringing attention to someone else. Next is the actual presenting. This is not just the introduction. Introductions such as an award show will start off with, let's introduce the people that will be presenting. So presenting is a case of you kind of combining the introduction with the presenting role. So you might come out there and they'll just say, oh, here comes this individual to talk to you about, and then when you present, you're going to go instead of not only into the individual's background like you would with an introduction, but the importance of the award. Because if you spend all your time talking about how great the person receiving it is, that is a good start. But how does this honor them? How does it make it a special moment for them? So you might be, this is the 75th winner, this is a special winner type of thing. This award has been around for, and you can go into details about it. By being recognized with the award, their name is going up on the list of honoraries to include. So this is a case of where the award has to be as special as the person you're introducing. You want to keep it, once again, short because you're not the focus. In this case, the focus is the person receiving it and the award itself. So try to balance those two and you'll do a good job presenting. Of course, humor helps in both of these situations, but know your audience on these as well as know if it's appropriate for the situation. Acceptance speech. The acceptance speech is you have been honored. You have been given a great award. It could be anything from Mother of the Year, Father of the Year. It might be something from the local Chamber of Commerce as Business Person of the Year. It might be something at school where you receive a award for best academic career. You name it. There's a number of things here, honor roll, etc. What you want to do in this case is, yes, it is about you at that moment. It's a great honor, how thrilled you are, but you want to be gracious. You want to show gratitude towards those that helped you achieve this award. Because oftentimes it is a team effort. You didn't make the entire movie, you were in the movie. Yes, you have incredible grades and you're being honored as part of the honor roll, but you know what? Your family was there helping you out, giving you quiet time, giving you the ability to study, encouraging you. So you want to be gracious. You want to express the personal value of it. As a first generation college student, this means so much to me because for my family, for my grandparents that didn't get the chance to go to college, this is an important thing. So you want to express the value of the award, not that, oh, yay, another Grammy, I'll put it in the garage with the rest of them. No, you want to say, I'm thrilled. Next, you want to recognize those who contributed to the success, and that, as I mentioned, is part of being gracious. That you didn't get there on your own. Remember the other people. Do you know why? Because when they hear this, they're going to help you again, and they're going to help continue you to rise and climb and complete your hero's journey. Be humble. You don't want to go up and say, well, it's about time I won this award, unless it's appropriate humor. But normally what you want to go ahead and do is be very humble. I am so honored to be recognized with this award, who's also honored these people. So acceptance speeches, you can be a little bit longer, you can go into a little bit more detail, but you also want to make sure you're fitting your time into the time they've allocated you. Otherwise, they start playing the band music and they kind of pull you off stage. So acceptance speeches, be humble, recognize those that helped you, and help your audience understand the value of the award. Speeches of praise or blame. Now, I know the word blame in there kind of throws a lot of people off. We're not just talking about blame as in a court trial or something of this variety. We'll start off with praise. We'll start off with cases of such a wedding ceremony or civil unions. In this case, you want to go ahead and express as the best person, as the best man, as the bridesmaid, whatever your role is, something that helps your audience understand how special the marriage is, the gathering is. Perhaps the first time they met, perhaps a story from your childhood, but you still want to maintain the focus on the couple, not on yourself. Always be careful with humor. A lot of times people think they're being humorous and they bring up a story from the past, and one of the people getting married is just like, oh, I wish they hadn't said that. In order to avoid that kind of reception, talk to the person and say, hey, I want to mention about the time in third grade when, and see if it's okay. And if it's okay, then you can absolutely use it. And understand, you have two different families coming together in one of these ceremonies. So one side might have a great sense of humor, the other side might really frown on it. So know your audience in this situation as well. When you're talking about blame, these are the two that come up. And as you know, so the pictures of Don Rickles, a comedian from the 60s, 70s, and 80s, who absolutely was an insult comic, is how he described himself. And he used to do roasts and toasts of people. And this is supposed to be a good-hearted, light-hearted gathering where you kind of poke fun at a person, but it's all in good nature. You're not really trying to tear them down. You're just kind of showing their human side. And oftentimes, it can be a positive experience. Make sure the stories still remain appropriate for your audience. You don't want to go into things that probably shouldn't be talked to the G audience when you're around younger kids, you want to stick to that G audience rating, not go to the R rating. So know your audience once again, careful with humor, and understand that some of the humor is going to be like dad jokes. You just kind of get a groan, and that's about all you get. That's okay. Go ahead and keep going. Work your way through it. So a toast is a focus on the positive. You're toasting a person for their achievements, for their goals. Roast is more of your kind of poking fun at their humanity, the nature that we have, the things that we do that are kind of not the brightest, and bringing up stories such as that. Humor is expected. These are both humor based. Be aware of boundaries. Know when it's too far, because when you go too far, it's not necessarily hurting their ethos, it's actually destroying your ethos as well. So watch for the boundaries, and you're still honoring the person. There's a reason why their friends have gotten together and decided to roast them. It's not because they hate them, it's because they love them, and that love should show throughout. Speeches of inspiration and encouragement. These are common ones. These are ones that make us feel, that really kind of draw out the emotions in us. Inspiration, we know of them, the inspirational speakers that get up there and kind of get us the idea that we can go through that brick wall, or that we can climb the highest mountain, that we can accomplish things in our lives. One of the common ones is, you'll see that in religious sermons, where you'll have a case of spiritually based, let's talk, let's bring it together. This is our inspiration, this is our encouragement. There are many other ones that Jerry made where you're a speech about the moral or spiritual shortcomings. You don't have to really focus on these unless you're actually in that type of profession. Overall, when we're talking about inspirational things, I think of being a parent. I think about being a parent and that's working or volunteering with the softball team, or a parent that your child comes home and they've had really kind of a bad day, and you're going to come up with inspirational things to keep them driving and keep them going. Now, of course, those are more personal ones, but once you start talking about, oh, well, I'm going to talk to their class, I'm going to do a little speech to their class, I'm going to do a speech to their group, to the 4-H club, to whatever group they're in, and then that becomes kind of an inspirational encouragement speech that you may encounter. A lecture, well, this is kind of what we do here. I do actually hope that some of my presentations come off as inspirational, because I really want you to feel comfortable with communication. I want you to feel good as a public speaker. I want that to become part of your life, and so I try to inspire you. I think the best thing you can leave a public speaking class with is confidence. And so how do you get confidence? Encouragement and inspiration. Keynote address. This would be a case of, if you're an expert in your field, you know something, you've experienced something in life, then you may be asked, can you come talk to our group about this? You'll be the keynote speaker, and you're going to get that 20-minute block to speak to us and tell us about your journey to inspire us, encourage us, or perhaps to share new insight with us. A rally or speech. Now, a rally speech in this situation, realize, like a speech of protest or a speech where you are perhaps trying to get something changed in your community, rarely are you speaking to the opposition. You're not speaking to the people that are going to change. You're speaking to the people that are there in support of it. You're speaking to the group that is there protesting, that is there rallying. In other words, you're preaching to the choir. So realize when you're creating these speeches, you don't necessarily have to look at the other side and pick everything apart. Instead, what you can do is look at your side and pick up the positives, and unite the group together. Commencement speech, graduation. I think we've all been through a few of these. And in these cases, absolutely have fun with it. Maybe you're the valedictorian. Perhaps that's something you want to go ahead and do your speech on, is, hey, I know I'm going to be the valedictorian, so I'm going to practice my speech. Or perhaps you want to do class of 2024. Here it is. So absolutely have some fun with this. Now the final one is eulogies. Now I put Monty Python up there because there's one aspect of a eulogy that sometimes people miss. We think of it completely as being formalized and kind of being a standard. We all gathered here today to celebrate. And yes, that fits into some people's lives. But if you knew the person, you can also change that situation to be around who that person was and not just straightforward. Such as with Monty Python, one of the funniest and best eulogies you can watch is John Cleese's, where he spoke about after the death of Graham Chapman. And the reason why is because it truly showed the bond between the men. It was funny, but that's what he would have wanted. He would have wanted that humor in there. And that is a more effective eulogy than just, all right, let's go ahead and do the standard one. I've had some students do creative ones. They've done eulogies for, such as their teddy bear from when they were growing up, or their imaginary friend. So yes, you can change it up. Use this as a practice, hopefully not, but realize when you're celebrating a person, when you're mourning them, you want to celebrate who they were, not try to recast them into a different role. In conclusion, what we talked about was the different types of celebratory speeches, special occasion speeches that you might encounter. Speeches of introductions, presenting acceptance, praise and blame, inspiration, encouragement, and mourning. Realize often you'll have very little time to plan for these. So getting used to the format of how to build a speech and how to deliver a speech will help you in the long run. So when something comes up unexpected, you don't need more than an hour or two to put something together that works. And this is one of those cases where this is a common occurrence with these types of speeches. If you get a long period of time, great. If you don't, that's fine. You'll have the skills and ability to do it as long as you follow the format, you follow your outline, and you know how to get that keyword outline to draw upon your knowledge to bless the audience. Remember, usually and fittingly, the presence of an introduction is held to imply there is something of consequence and importance to be introduced. And that is oftentimes your role in a special occasion speech.